In the 2011 North America Airline Satisfaction Study, satisfaction is up for the second consecutive year. It's off lows in 2009, and when you look at the two segments, the low-cost carriers and the traditional network carriers, the scores really diverge. Both are up, but the low-cost carriers now have the highest satisfaction levels since 2006. And when you look at the traditional carriers, they're still trying to get back to satisfaction levels last enjoyed before the recession and before the proliferation of ancillary fees. The highest ranked airlines in this year's study are both repeat awardees. In the low-cost carrier segment, JetBlue repeats for its sixth consecutive year as highest ranked. And in the traditional network carrier segment, Alaska Airline repeats for its fourth consecutive year. What's different about this year's study is how close the gap is now between the second-ranked airlines in both segments. Southwest Airlines has pulled within a couple points of JetBlue, and Air Canada has surged to come within a few points of Alaska Airlines. And when you look at what Air Canada has done, it starts with leadership at the top. The CEO made customer satisfaction one of the top 3 priorities for the firm, and that's run throughout their entire operations, from call centers through the airport and airline experience. In the 2010 annual report, they talk about how their internal measures have shown the progress, and sure enough, relative to the competitive set, we see that in our data in this year's study. A really interesting aspect of this year's study is how the reservation and check-in scores are at their highest level since the study began. And that's important because if you think back to 2006, around that time, people used to queue up and get in line to check in. And then came kiosks, and eventually online, and more recently mobile and apps. And with reservation, that too has been enabled by technology. So after initially not embracing the technology as much, actually the satisfaction scores with checking in and making reservations online or checking in at a kiosk are higher than the way everybody used to do it by going to the airport to check in at the main counter. What airline study would be complete without a discussion of cost and fees? As much as airline satisfaction has improved overall, cost and fees is an area where, on the base fare, it has been down across the board in the industry. Yet, there are 2 airlines which managed to overall improve satisfaction with cost and fees. How could that be? Well, when you think about things like bag fees or the food on the airplanes or entertainment options, actually only Air Canada and Southwest Airlines had such strong satisfaction scores in those other areas that they recorded a positive improvement overall in cost and fees. And when you look at the study and the 4 airlines that don't charge for the first check bag, JetBlue, Southwest, WestJet, and Air Canada, they all recorded positive improvements in the non-fare cost and fees in this year's study. So clearly, as a differentiator, customers take note, and when they don't pay for that first checked bag, satisfaction fees are obviously higher.